Emotional intelligence has become increasingly relevant in our world today, growing from its origins in the mid-90s based on Daniel Goleman's best-selling book. But how can emotional intelligence assist employees in the workplace? Well, I've got the answer for you right now. So, you're curious about how emotional intelligence can assist you and your employees in the workplace. Well, by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of what EQ actually is. You'll have foundational knowledge of a leading scientifically validated EQ model, and you'll have a better understanding of how building the skills within this model can help you and your team become more effective and fulfilled in your work. So let's start out simply by defining what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is a set of emotional and social skills that influence the way we express and communicate with others, develop and maintain social relationships, cope with challenges, and use emotional information in an effective and meaningful way. And perhaps the coolest part of EQ is that it's not a fixed type of asset or capability, unlike IQ. You see, with IQ, researchers have proven that the IQ that you're born with really doesn't change much from the time that you actually pass away. But conversely, EQ is a set of skills that you can actually build and grow and nurture over time, which for me makes it super, super exciting. So now that we're grounded in what emotional intelligence is, let's dive into a proven model that's well known throughout the industry. The model is called the EQI 2.0 model, and I'm actually grateful to say I'm a certified practitioner of this particular emotional intelligence tool. This is a psychometric assessment that measures emotional intelligence and how it can impact those in the workplace and our work in general. It's actually the first scientifically validated measure of EI, which is honestly one of the reasons why it's the one that I wanted to become certified to practice and to train. By strengthening the skill components of this model, you'll be armed to improve your performance, your relationship building, and emotional and social functioning. So let's go ahead and break down the learnable skills within this model to help you and your team understand how you can leverage it to become more effective in your work. I love this model because it starts with you, how you perceive yourself and how you express yourself. These components of the model include skills like self-perception, self-actualization, emotional expression, and assertiveness. For any given interaction in the workplace, these skills are usually at play, whether that looks like you being challenged by a peer or colleague on an idea or input that you might have in a meeting, whether it be your manager coming to you and asking you to lead a really complex or challenging problem. How you respond to that and how you are aware of any emotions that are inspired within those interactions, those are those skills of emotional intelligence. And the better you are at managing those emotions, using those emotions, and building that awareness, the more productive you can be in these interactions and engagements within the workplace. So the more aware that we can be of our own emotional energy, our own self-worth, the better able we're going to be to productively contribute to the work, believing in ourselves, taking ownership of our work, and really unleashing our fullest expression even in the workplace. By the way, if you're getting value from this, make sure you subscribe, like, click notification, even comment below. I drop videos like this all of the time. I want to make sure that you're continue to getting value into your inbox. So make sure you click that subscribe button so you'll be notified first when a new video drops. All right, let's get back into it. The next components of the model include interpersonal relationships, empathy, and social responsibility skills. You know, I was recently listening to Christy Smith. She's the global lead for talent and human potential at Accenture. And recently on a podcast, she stated that looking into the coming decades, the most sought after skill set or skill for a leader will be empathy. Empathy. Being able to hold space, to understand and seek to understand the emotional energy of another, to engage with that individual simply by listening, holding space, and being able to connect in that show of empathy. And given all the change, the disruption, the transformation that I'm sure you're experiencing, maybe even on a daily basis, and the fact that that's not going to stop, it reiterates to me that this skill of empathy is going to be increasingly important, not just for senior leaders in an organization, but really everyone in the organization at all levels, so that we can support ourselves, our peers, and all of our colleagues as we move through really trying, really challenging times of big change, transformation, and disruption. The final skills of the model include flexibility, stress tolerance, impulse control, and problem solving. Now, it should probably be pretty obvious how important these skills are, especially in the workplace. Whether that be your plate seemingly overflowing with deliverables that never quit, and that inducing a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger within you, whether that be someone saying something to you in the hallway, maybe an interaction with a manager, and you having a gut reaction to do something that you might later regret, the more that you can practice these skills, again, becoming more in tune with that emotional energy and how you're responding and acting to that emotional energy, the more productive, the more fulfilled, the more effective you're going to be in the workplace. The core of my work in founding and leading Change Enthusiasm Global, a consulting company that's at the intersection of change and emotion in the workplace, so often I'm working with leaders, with those on the front line, with executives, working through really complex problems, meaning change or transformation journeys. They can be very complex, they can be very complicated, very challenging, and very stressful. The higher an individual's emotional intelligence, notably within this skill block around problem solving, around stress management, the better enabled they are to move through that change effectively. So I hope you got value from that, and if you did, I've got something else for you, and it's completely for free. $0 will you have to spend to get this. But as we think about emotional energy in the workplace and how to become aware of that energy and maybe even transform it to become more productive, I want to gift you a free chapter of my best-selling book, Change Enthusiasm: How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. And specifically, I want to gift you the chapter all about the signal. Now, the signal of what I called or coined these more difficult emotions like fear, like frustration, like anger, and how to recognize those emotions as signals to our greatest moments of opportunity. And this idea, this mindset of change enthusiasm, is truly an emotional intelligence tool that will enable you to use those difficult emotions to propel you forward as opposed to holding you back. And that chapter is yours today for free. All you got to do is click in the link below within the notes of this video. I want to make sure that you have the tools, the insight, and the research to ensure your growth through even your most difficult, emotionally driven change challenges. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.